Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. This is not your first time. Thank you for coming back. So right now I'm going to be doing a reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Also for your cross watchers. Also for people who just kind of find themselves on this reading with no Piscean anything, but you hella resonating. The message is probably for you, so just own it, okay? Also, just in case you're waiting for me to do readings for other signs, I'm doing that daily on TikTok. So catch me on TikTok, Emmie Evolving. Follow me over there as well, okay? All right, so Pisces. I get this message of there might be something left to work out. I don't know what that means. I don't want to jump to any conclusions that this means something about someone specific. I'm wondering if this is like, don't give up on yourself type of message. We gonna find out. Don't worry. We gonna find out, okay? We're gonna go ahead and pull however many cards we need to pull to get the clarity that we need, okay? So there might be something left to work out. So Michael's kind of having this conversation with me in my head about how, like, the theme of my life, his words, not mine. The theme of my life is basically walking away prematurely, where I don't learn everything I need to learn in that circumstance because I've chosen to walk away a little too early. And why have I chosen to walk away? Because my intuition basically tells me where this is headed, which is more drama mamas. Okay, so I walk away from it because I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. But sometimes you have to experience the drama in order to learn, right? Sometimes you can't just walk away. Sometimes there's something huge that you're learning. And if you walk away from it too soon, then you're going to kick yourself in your own booty. Okay. I thought I was alone in this world. Oh, thank you, Danielle. No, you're not. You're not. I promise. You're not. All right. So, ooh, okay. What's up?
You know.
You know. All right. Final deck. Oh, okay. Final deck. Let me just shuffle this. All right. It feels like we have been up in arms about something for quite some time. And whatever we were up in arms about, it was because we were triggered. Okay. Earlier life traumas got triggered. It's not necessarily that we're being dramatic. It's not necessarily that the other person is intentionally being mean. It's that there's a lot of misunderstandings going on because we have been refusing to deal with earlier life traumas for how long now, okay? When you refuse to deal with earlier life traumas, they have a tendency to be recurring themes in your life. And that's just something we kind of have to accept about our journey, so long as we refuse to deal with whatever we need to deal with, and we're going to continue to experience those type of things, okay? So card number 22, she feels, she knows. You can feel what's going on. You can feel your dissatisfaction with some of the decisions you've made, whether those decisions led you, to places within yourself that hurt your feelings, or those decisions caused you to further feel abandoned. Something's hurting your feelings, and your lack of willingness to really look at what's going on is hurting it even more. So you have to make sure that you pause, allow yourself to really process what's going on. What's actually going on in your life? Do you know? Do you know? How I spent quite a few months just like in a pissed off mood, but not really pissed off, but just like that anger bubbling beneath the surface for I don't know what. And the moment I realized that this anger that I was feeling is due to my frustration with myself, I was able to empower myself enough to be like, okay, girl, so what do we need to do from this point on? And that's what got me over that hump. It took quite a few months. It took months, and there's no shame in not doing the work and learning the lesson overnight. There's no shame in that. This is not a race. I don't need to impress you with how quickly I learn my life lessons. I'm learning it to learn it. And if it's going to take me 5 years to learn that lesson properly, then it's going to take me 5 years. And I'm not going to feel ashamed about that. I'm going to be like, it took me 5 years to reach this beautiful space of self-acceptance and really just allowing myself to begin healing these wounds that I used to be so ashamed of. It was like the most viscerally felt, most painful, yet most empowering 5 years of my life. That's wonderful, where you can just own your life. Card number 23, there's a solution for every problem. And sometimes it takes us a while to let go of our self-denial in order to recognize the solution and implement it. Many of us, we simply just stop at the recognition of the solution. We don't take the next step and implement that solution into our lives. Why is that? I know. Girlfriend is like, she deep breathed. Why do we do that, Joy? Why do we do that? Why do we not take the next step? Do you want to contribute anything? Yeah, see her face right now? That's how our energy gets when it comes to actually dealing with the things that we need to deal with. Look at her. She's all right. She's like, damn it, put me down. Okay. I'm sorry I woke you up. Right. We wonder why nothing changes when in actuality we've been refusing to allow change within ourselves to begin with. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we have to find the solution. We have to acknowledge the solution, and then we have to, most importantly, implement. Oh, sorry. That was so gross. Excuse me. We have to implement the solution. Okay. Prince of Autumn, dependable, protective, chivalrous, humorous, cautious but wise action, meticulous attention to detail, kindness to others. I feel like Pisceans, we have this tendency to be so meticulous in our effort to find out what drives you. Find out what makes you smile, what makes you feel so alive, and we'll do that for you. But when it comes to doing this for ourselves, I mean, heaven forbid. Heaven forbid Piscean feels the kind of love we give to other people. Heaven forbid we feel that coming from ourselves. You have to take cautious but wise actions as you go through your whole self-love journey. Okay, this self-love journey isn't about reaching a point where you're perfectly fine with yourself. Because I mean, really, are you? Are you really actually fine with yourself? Or are you simply settling for this sense of, oh, yeah, no, I'm fine with it. It's fine. I mean, it's not really what I wanted, but it's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. That's the shit that I do when I'm having a tantrum with my husband. You do it too. No, it's fine. Are you sure you don't want it? No, it's fine. I don't need it. Whatever. It's fine. No, it's fine. Are you sure you don't need? No, I don't. It's fine. Are you doing that to yourself? Where you recognize the type of process you need to go through in order to get to the level of being you should be at, and you don't really want to go through it. So it's like, no, it's fine. I'm fine right here. Take the time to pause and really, really just be honest with yourself. Are you fine where you're at? Now, this is coming from Michael, okay? He's asking the question, are you really fine without that connectivity? I'm assuming he's talking about somebody, like someone in particular for you. Are you really fine with not ever having a final, like, closure type conversation, or not ever having the clarity, understanding why things went the way they did for whoever it is that's in your thoughts? Are you okay with that? Are you really truly okay with that? Or do you want to know? Do you want to know what happened, where the breakdown was? Did you do something? Was it something about you? Do you want to know? And I'm wondering if you want to know something, because this is a part of what's been eluding you. I'm wondering if these are parts of you that you've just been struggling so hard to understand, and you haven't been able to come up with any, like, acceptable reasoning as to why things are the way they are for you, uh, beyond, why things are the way they are with you and another person, but with you in your life. I'm wondering if that, whoever it is just, oh, what, hold on, he says it's in this deck. Oh, it's in this deck. It's a projection. I'm wondering if, like, what's going on is that you haven't been able to see what's being projected in front of you. And that blindness to the projection, it's probably rooted in your blindness to your own circumstance, your own lessons, your own struggles. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're incapable. It just means there's something extra that needs to be worked on. And this thing that we consider extra is actually the heart of what we need to heal, And so we do what we need to do. We heal what we need to heal. We take however long we need to take. We go through whatever process we need to go through. There's no shame in your human history. I once knew someone, well, I still know them. I knew someone who hid this major detail about their life from me. And then there was someone else who, they were malicious in their intent. And they told me about the first person's history, that at one point they worked as a prostitute. And I told the person who told me, like, what's that have to do with me? Like, why are you telling me this? Like, well, what is your intention? To make me feel negative towards her? I mean, what's your intention with that? And they couldn't answer me. I knew the intent was malicious. And I also know I'm not aware of the reasoning that led her down that path to choose that way to make money to survive. None of that has to do with me. All I need to know is what I've experienced with her for X amount of years. She's always had tremendous amounts of integrity, tremendous amounts of compassion, tremendous amounts of pain. I could feel that. And I ended up one day, I don't know how it came up, but they brought up that person. And I was like, I have to tell you something very difficult. They said this, and this years ago. And whether it's true or not is irrelevant. I've still always loved you the way I've always loved you. Knowing, not knowing, it doesn't make a difference. If that's a part of your history, own it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing. We live in a world that crushes you for not existing, and then it crushes you for existing. It's like you have to go through some process to allow yourself to reveal your truth, at the risk of revealing that truth being the very thing that destroys you. And what I realize is this. The parts of you that get destroyed once that truth is widely known, that's the part of you that still carried so much shame and guilt, embarrassment about existing. Things happen in people's lives, and we are not present as they are faced with very grim options. We are not present as they have to choose one bad over another bad in order to survive. Now, regardless of whether you've chosen one bad over another bad, that's irrelevant. Own your journey. Really, really own your journey, because these types of lessons that we're having such a hard time processing, they will continue to be projected outside of you. You'll continue to have the types of connections that will shine a huge spotlight on the parts of your consciousness that you're trying to keep hidden. I mean, really though, how powerful is it to have at one point in your life, continuing with that example, how powerful is it to have at one point in your life had to, have whatever, a job in the sex industry, where you didn't feel good about what you did. You didn't, and it's not me judging you. I'm talking about the feelings that went along with the type of work that you had to do. And to know that that's a part of your history, and you've now empowered yourself to the point where your options are no longer grim. Now you can see the effects in your life of how this self-healing journey has taken you out of a very dark place, a very dark period in your life, and has finally put you in a place where you're proud to be who you are. I mean, that's powerful. That's powerful. For people who have struggled with depression basically their entire life, to be able to be healed to a point where you still have depression, but now you can function. Now you can smile. You can eat your meals. You can eat a few times a day. You can do more than just stare at the wall and cry. That's a huge accomplishment. That's huge. That's huge. And, when people haven't experienced that depth of suffering, they really have no place to talk. They really, really don't. They don't. As someone who's experienced clinical depression, having people who've never been depressed tell me, you have to stop choosing to be sad. Are you fucking serious right now? Wow, really? Really? You think people choose that? I'm waiting for the punchline. You literally seriously think that I would choose that? Oh, you're fucking crazy. Wow, you're crazy. Nobody chooses that. Nobody. And it's hard when people who have so much to say and have never experienced that. It's hard when you allow their words to become your truth. That's what's hard. The depression wasn't hard. Well, oh no. Let me rephrase this. The depression was hard. What was devastating about that depression is when people would tell me that I was choosing that. It was because I have a weak mind. Really? I mean, I like to think that if I really had that weak mind, I actually wouldn't be here still. I wouldn't be trying to sift through all of this wreckage that is causing me to just stare at the wall for hours on end. Causing me to not eat for days on end. Where I literally couldn't eat. Where I would take food and I would get this close. And that would wreck me. I'm not crying because it hurts. I just realized right now I just realized right now how much I've healed through. And that's actually part of the reason why I get so annoyed when people are like, how come you can't take shit seriously? Because when I take shit seriously, it's depressing. And unless you've been where I've been, you don't get to tell me to stop laughing. And the most powerful thing is that I'm not the only one that's experienced this type of process. I know I'm not. But there was a part of me, even at the darkest parts, there was always a part of me that knew there were other things that needed to be worked out. That whatever it is I'm experiencing, it's temporary. And there's always something that's going to be learned in these periods of tremendous challenge, whether it's internal challenge, external, whether it's something you're doing to yourself, whether it's something that someone else is doing to you. All of it are opportunities to learn, to grow. And sometimes you don't even realize how much you've grown and how much you've learned until you look back at that. Love. The first steps of your journey are your recognition that you need love. Not necessarily just love from other people, external validation. I'm talking about love for yourself. Like recognizing that sometimes you go through really, really difficult things in life, and those difficult things are actually the brightest parts of your journey, because they shine a light on how strong you actually are. It's okay to be strong and crying. It's okay to be depressed, yet still smiling and laughing. You are a totality. You were never created to be one or the other. Where, if you're depressed, you can't ever laugh, you can't ever smile, because then you're fake. You're either faking the smile or you're faking the depression. No matter what, you're fake. And it's like, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Like, who are you to limit me and tell me I can only feel one thing? Just because you're incapable of feeling more than one thing at one time does not mean I have to shrink my expansive ability to feel on so many different levels, so many different things in a single moment. And no, it doesn't make me crazy. It doesn't make me too sensitive or too emotional or any of that. It makes me fucking powerful to be able to find reasons to laugh and smile while depressed. I mean, do you understand the type of power you need to be able to do that? Do you? And honestly, I don't think people will know unless they've been in that situation where they had to do that for themselves, where they still had to find ways in which to be able to laugh, ways in which to be able to enjoy life while still having a sadness present, a debilitating sadness at that. That takes a very powerful type of soul. And even if the human mind that soul is housed in can't quite comprehend the gravity of the power that's needed to be able to balance those two polarities, that's irrelevant. Eventually, the human mind will have experienced enough and have survived enough to grasp just how powerful it actually is. So, card number 19, dream a beautiful dream. You're at the epicenter of what you're creating. You're at the very center of it. What type of life do you want for yourself? And let's do away with the type of thoughts we have where it's like, I want a life where I'm in a mansion. I want a life where I'm driving this particular kind of car, have that amount in my bank account. I want a life where I can afford to go fly to Europe on a private jet and, you know, I don't know, bathe in the Mediterranean. I don't know, shit. I don't, yeah. Those are all like sugar coated, hyper glossed bullshit ideas of success and happiness. Because I know quite a few extremely wealthy people. And although they can afford all of that stuff, they drive the cars and live in the huge homes, they have a tendency to be the most saddest, most alone feeling people I have ever met. That's sad. That's sad. To be surrounded by material wealth and be emotionally bankrupt. Fuck, I'd rather be materially bankrupt and emotionally wealthy. Because that's powerful right there. To be emotionally wealthy can be such an empowering thing because my emotional wealth made me and my children feel like living in a parking lot for 5 months was a fucking adventure. And it wasn't even a lie. It was an adventure. It was like a family fucking adventure. And till now, I've had my kids mention, like, I miss our RV adventures. I mean, what? What? Yeah. Yeah. So these are things you need to work out within yourself. I mean, you know, if you are emotionally bankrupt, I think that's far worse, far, far worse than anything you could possibly experience in life. Like if you're sick and there's no one there with you, no one to make you feel as though it matters whether you get better or not. It's like, what am I here for? For nothing. No one cares if I'm here. I could disappear and it wouldn't matter. But is that the truth or is that the lie that you tell yourself? Is that what you tell yourself to justify the punishing of yourself? And that's what needs to be worked on, you know, this recognition of where these thoughts and programmed reactions are coming from. Card number 13, liberation, free yourself. You have to free yourself from your own emotional and mental prisons. These were created in childhood. And we're not going to sit here and blame the parents. You got the parents that were selected to give you the experiences that you need, okay? After a certain point, you can no longer blame the parents anymore. You have to take ownership of your life and how your history has shaped you into the person you are now. Growing up with a narcissistic parent, I could easily be like, oh my God, you know, that's why I have all these issues. And nah, that motherfucker made me really fucking strong. You're not going to fucking break me. Thanks to that person, they really exercised my rebelliousness because fuck that. I don't give a shit what you fucking say or do to me. I'm not going to give in. I'm not going to bow down to you. I don't care if it breaks me. Take the whole fucking arm. I don't give a shit, but I will never cave to you ever, ever, ever. And I don't care how many people you gather up to try and pick on me together, the whole fucking group. I don't give a shit if I stand by myself, no matter what, no matter how many times you try and knock me down, I'm going to stand the fuck back up. And I'm going to keep standing until I'm good and ready to sit the fuck down, which I'm that fucking stubborn. I'm not going to sit the fuck down. So just stop wasting your fucking energy. And that's how my childhood affected me. It prepared me for the job I need to do as an adult. I'm no longer angry about that. Yes, I still have anger because as a Blu-ray, that rage is part of the fuel that's used for my work. So I can be over here and be like, I didn't have the kind of childhood that they have in the movies. Or I can be like, man, I had a fucking perfect ass childhood for the work I'm going to do. Because I've had people come on my live streams and tell me I'm fat. I'm like, right? Tell me I'm ugly. Right? I'm so fucking cute. Whatever. I don't give a shit. You're not going to say anything to make me feel badly about myself. Please. And it's not because I have high levels of confidence. It's because I've been programmed from childhood to stop caring what other people fucking think. And there you go. That's the power in what I endured as a child. You couldn't break me as a little girl. You're not going to break me right now. Are you fucking kidding me? Shit, I'm in my fucking prime. And from this point on, I don't give a shit how old I get. Every single year of my life, that sense of I'm in my prime will amplify. My worth doesn't diminish with my age. It doesn't lessen with every wrinkle that develops. It increases. Are you fucking kidding me? How many cuts does a diamond have? How many lines must first be cut into that diamond to bring out its brilliance? I mean, I think I'm fucking halfway there. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, you know, like halfway to brilliance, halfway. You got half more to go. Queen of Autumn, generous, stylish, gracious, practical. Be practical with respect to how you proceed. We can't always be sunshines and butterflies. We can't. It would be a lie to force ourselves to believe that we can only be positive and be happy. I don't think so. That's the same as me saying, it's just sadness. All I have is sadness. No, I don't think so. That all or nothing approach is the very thing that created my depression to begin with. That's the very thing that created. I have to be just like everyone else. Or, you know what, I'm just not worth it. I shouldn't be here. How about sometimes I am like other people. Other times I'm so far different from other people. And both times I'm equally as valuable, equally as cherished. And not everyone is going to like me. But I don't need to be liked by everyone because my value is set by me. I will never be on clearance. I don't give a shit if you don't agree with my value. Just like you can't go to a store and be like, $300 for moisturizer? I don't think so. I'll give you $50. But like, no, bitch, walk out the fucking store. Okay? I don't think so. I don't think so. So, the ability to make anything more beautiful, meeting someone who can help your dreams come true. How about if you meet yourself? How about if you meet the truth of who you are? The truth of you. How about you meet that centered within yourself? How about we allow ourselves to have these conversations within ourselves, these conversations that help us to understand the gravity of other people's presence in our life? I recognize that when I go into these cycles where it's like, no, I just got to be on my own. I just, you know, I don't need anybody. I don't want anyone around. I kind of just got to go through my own processes. Those are the periods where I'm actually not empowered. In reality, it's quite the opposite. I'm feeling very vulnerable. I'm feeling very powerless. And the safest thing I can do for myself is to protect myself by isolating myself. So these people who have the ability to love me in the ways that I want and I need, they need to go away, because if they have the ability to love me in that way, they have the ability to hurt me with that same gravity as their love. Pisces, we think like this a lot. Let's be honest with ourselves. I'm not unique in that thought. I really am not. That's definitely a Piscean thing. That's an empath thing. That's a wounded inner child thing. That's a wounded healer thing. We trying to protect ourselves by cutting off the very people and circumstance that can help validate this knowing that we are worth loving, that there are people who love us. I'm just saying. Card number 17, focus. Whatever you focus on, that's where you're going to send your trajectory towards. That's what you're traveling towards. If you focus on the negatives, okay? If you focus on the negatives, it's nothing but negatives, because that's all that happens in your life is negative. Can't blame you, you know, if all you experience is negative. But here's the thing. You can't continue doing the same thing and expect a different outcome. If you don't get paid enough at the job that you're at, and you're already management, there's nowhere else to go. How are you going to keep going to that same job expecting to get paid quadruple what you're making? And it doesn't matter if you know you're not being unreasonable in that, where quadruple what you're making is simply that the basic amount for you know a sustainable existence. That doesn't matter. It's insanity to continue with the same thing expecting different results. So you have to begin making the plans to have something different. Because, oh, so I don't make enough at my job to pay my very reasonable amount of rent, to have a very reasonable amount of food. I don't make enough. So let me go ahead and just quit the job. Y'all. Michael, be quiet. Let me just quit the job and it'll work out then. Oh, but no, it won't. It won't, because that's not how manifestation works. I mean, if you think that just because you quit the job, but you didn't shift that lacking poverty type mentality, you're not going to manifest something better for yourself. All you're going to manifest is further struggle, which then confirms the negativity you feel inside, which will then amplify because now it's been confirmed. So what do you need to do? You need to start doing the work to make the plans to be able to shift. You have to get your resume together. Resume, spiritual resume, is really just a list of the ways in which you've grown. The work that you've done for yourself. What if we do that? Excuse me. What if we take some time today to create some sort of spiritual resume where we can have in black and white, excuse me, we can have in black and white the very things we've accomplished for ourselves to further develop our sense of self, our sense of worth, to give us a really solid idea of where we are at in our journey. And this is not a list of ways in which you failed. This is a list of things you know you've encountered, you've struggled through it, and then you overcame it. And it can be something as small as, I brushed my hair today. Because usually, most days, I really just don't have it in me to brush my hair. But today I felt like I just needed a little extra love, and so I brushed my hair. I felt like I needed to untangle some of my power. I feel like I just kind of deserved it. That's an accomplishment. If you never brush your hair, if you never take care of yourself, that's a huge fucking accomplishment. For people who have a hard time eating, so the fact that you had a healthy meal with a healthy portion, wow. Or just the fact you got food in your mouth, wow. Fucking keep going. Take another bite. Just one more. Enjoy it. Allow the textures to kind of be felt, the different flavors to be tasted. And even if you only take 2 bites, that's more than you took yesterday. So that's fucking huge. That's huge. We tend to diminish all this progress that we make. You guys saw me at the beginning of this live stream start crying because I just realized I never gave myself credit for the amount of work that I've done on myself. To me, it's always like, yeah, you know, I went through that. I mean, it's fine. It's no biggie. It's fine. But it is a big thing. It is a big thing. To be placed on, I think I was like at 13 or 14 psychiatric pills a day by the time I decided to heal myself. I had been maxed out on the dosages for everything. And then I got sick of it. And I realized The medication can help you take the edge off the hurt so that you can begin actually analyzing the root causation of what's going on. But it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't solve that. You still have to find the courage within yourself to face yourself in the mirror and see all the parts that are broken. And I did that. And I got off the medication. And then guess what? A few years later, I had a return of depression. Well, I thought it was going to return. So I went to the doctor again. I was like, I need to get back on medication. And the doctor's like, nobody does that. The people who need the they don't do that. We're going to need to reassess you. Apparently, I'm not bipolar and I'm not depressed, nor am I antisocial. I'm socially selective, choosing to interact only with things, people that carry substance and depth. Apparently, it's one of the hallmarks of highly intelligent individuals. Apparently, I'm not broken. I'm just too fucking smart. Ain't that some shit? Yeah. Okay. So listen to that inner voice. Listen to that inner voice, because I knew I wasn't broken. My depression stemmed from the fact that I was successful in convincing myself that I was broken. That's what the depression came from. Because I was looking for pathology. I couldn't quite wrap my mind around narcissistic parenting. And I was a byproduct of that. Depression was a byproduct of that. The depression was nothing more than a phase in my life that helped to bring my attention to the root causations that caused me to choose the specific types of coping mechanisms that I had for much of my life. And when I began to see the patterns, the triggers, the chosen coping mechanisms, and I began to see the effects of those causations, I began to recognize the ways in which I can choose different things and have different effects. It's just simple, isn't it? It's simple. And then I stumbled across the work of Dr. Dabrowski, his work on positive disintegration, overexcitabilities. This is work that helps to explain the profoundly gifted. Extreme intelligence is an equally handicapped position as those who don't have any. Because it's hard for you to wrap your mind around why society functions the way it does, why people don't care about other people. And it's hard to function in that way. It's hard to be in an environment where not only are you highly intellectual, you're also highly empathic. So you can feel other people's suffering and you can rationalize that person needs help. That person needs to be fed. Why is no one feeding them? And so now maybe you're starting to understand your depression is actually a reaction to the very dire state of humanity. Are you depressed or are you aware? What's the difference between the two? Are you depressed or are you aware? I call it functional depression. It's an awareness. It's an awareness of the disease that goes around the human race and is left undetected, unresolved. As long as it doesn't affect you directly inside your home, inside your car, inside your job, it's no biggie. But it is biggie. It is. Because all of us are growing in our empathy. All of us are now becoming aware of the need for change. We are understanding the deceit that we have been experiencing, either at the hands of others or at our own. There's something left to work on here. What ways have you been deceiving yourself? 3 being the number of a solid foundation. 8 being the number of reunification. A solid foundation is being formed for you to reunite with all your parts. 3 plus 8 is 11. 11 being the number of a divine journey. So you need to journey within yourself and see all the ways in which you have been deceiving yourself, either about your connection with someone or about the way you've been living, the amount of love you've been giving yourself or lack of it, or, just a whole bunch of different things that we do that we're not aware of. We have to become aware on so many different levels, not just of our environment, but of our internal circumstance as well. So, King of Winter, knowledgeable, experienced, fair-minded, unemotional. Get advice from someone professional and objective. Public speaking, unemotional relationships. I don't know. Michael is like, unemotional relationships are so detrimental to the empath. I don't know. What about the relationships, the connections where there's no emotion, there's just like a sharing of ideas? I mean, how is that detrimental? So he says, like, the lack of passion in that communication makes the communication seem like a lie. Because when the energy doesn't match what's being said, it creates um, a disharmonic resonance to what you're receiving. I don't know how to explain it. When someone tells me one thing, but I can feel their energies like it doesn't line up, I see them as a liar. That's how it feels. And once that happens, it's very difficult for me to reconnect with you, because the moment I think you're lying to me, I will disconnect. I will not be available. I will not be responsive. And it's kind of just like, whatever, you're saying something, I'm lying again. And it can be something really benign, like for real. But if the words don't match the energy, my heart is just like, nope, closed. Nope. So, okay, unemotional relationships. I wonder if that's what's going on, where we've closed ourselves off because we've been around so many people whose words haven't matched the energy behind the words. Like, you can't, there's no way for someone to hide their energy, as for me especially. Like, I can feel the energy of it. I can feel if what you're saying is not really how you're feeling. And if you're hiding things from me, withholding the truth from me, yeah, I'm going to feel that. And I might not be cognitive of like, oh, it's because blah, blah. No, I'm just like, oh, you feel off. I don't know. I think you're lying to me. And if you're going to lie to me about little things, you're probably lying to me about bigger things. And I don't need that in my life. Unfortunately, I don't. And so then that affects the trajectory from that point on, the ability to connect, all of that. Card number 2, transform the way you see. If you're so focused on your ascension process and that's all you're seeing, that's all you're allowing yourself to experience, most likely you're blinding yourself from the truth of your circumstance. Most likely you're blinding yourself from what's actually happening in your life, and that's not going to help you to ascend to higher levels of awareness. Awareness requires your presence. So if you're not going to be present in what's happening in your life, you're probably not going to learn the lesson in the way your soul intended for you to learn. Notice how I said your soul intended for you to learn, not someone else. Okay. Card number 3, inspiration. Inspiration. Allow the bees to inspire you. Yes, they carry with them the capability of creating sweetness or stinging you. It's fine. No matter what, they're a part of your blossoming, okay? You are one of those flowers that needs the bees to continue the cycles of growth, not cycles of toxicity, the cycles of growth. Notice when a flower is toxic to itself, the plant cuts it off. It dies. Just like really let that sink in. It's not because of the bees. It's not because of the honey. It's because that part of the plant is damaged, and it's usually just, it wilts and it's done. So the parts of you that are most resistant to your own journey, the parts of you that cause you to rebel against your own process, those are the parts that have a tendency to die off during shamanic deaths, during ascension cycles, during dark nights of the soul. During that dark night of the soul, Michael says those are the parts of you that become lost. They become obscured by the shadows, and suddenly they're gone. And yeah, we still will go through whatever process we need to go through to mourn that perceived loss of that part of ourselves. Don't stay there forever. Allow yourself to continue moving forward. Allow yourself to grow. Just allow it. Allow it. Sometimes that growth is painful. Sometimes that growth feels good. Either way, allow it, because you really won't know that it feels good unless you've experienced the polar opposite of that good and have felt the hurt, right? Right. So now it's time for you to really see, what do you need to work out? Do you need to work it out with someone else? Or do you need to work it out with yourself? For some of us, it feels like we need to work things out with someone else, where that someone else is a reflection of an internal thing that we are just so struggling to see for ourselves. So they need to be present. For others of us, this working out, it's all internal. All of it is internal. You have to allow yourself to really allow your truth to rise to the surface. All the ways in which you're needing to see your life. It can't be done unless you allow yourself to be centered, because if your back is pressed against one part of you, you're not going to see what's behind you. You're not. So you need to be able to see everything, okay? Everything going on in your life, everything going on within you. Allow yourself to see, allow yourself to grow, allow yourself to cry and grieve the parts of you that are no longer present. It's okay to grieve that. It's okay to feel sadness about change. Just don't stay there. That's the key to it. Not staying there, not allowing yourself to get stuck there. The goal is not to have a perfect, nothing but happy life. That's false. That's fake. It's just total bullshit teaching, okay? And if people get offended by me speaking my truth, well, I'm sorry that my truth is shining a light on your bullshit. I'm just fucking saying. I'm sorry for being honest. Okay. So yeah. Guys, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. And if you are one of the ones who have been waiting for me to do readings for other signs, thank you for being patient with me and my bullshit. I'm finally over myself. I'm doing readings for all the signs on TikTok. My handle is Emmie Evolving. Follow me over there. Pisces, I'm also doing reading for you guys. Hey, we're not going to punish you for getting so much love on YouTube, okay? It's not fair of me to withhold on TikTok. Y'all need some TikTok love too. So find me over there, follow me, whatever you want to do. If you don't have a TikTok, let me be the reason you have one. All right, I gotta go, guys. Love you. Please give this video a thumbs up. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.